Say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar. God is great. Allahu Akbar. God is great.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man walah. Dear brothers and sisters, Gabe Ar-Rahman, your host, and you're watching Peace TV. I'm joined again by my dear respected Sheikhs, Sheikh Asim Al-Hakim, Sheikh Salim Amri, and Dr. Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If you're just joining us, we are talking about a very, very important topic, and that is the ideal Muslim family. And we talked about the importance of the Muslim family. We talked about the Muslim family being the building unit block of the society and how this Muslim family actually benefits the world at large. And we talked about the importance of knowledge, the importance of knowing the halal and haram, the importance of the Muslim family character and how that, influences our neighbors and so on. And we touched a little bit with Dr. Ahmed about communication. So let us continue, inshallah, for this, and we'll wrap it up in this episode, inshallah, and we'll move on. Why is communication important for the Muslim family and the family at large? Why is this, a very important point?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man ittaba'a hudah. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Almighty, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad, his family, and his followers, all until the day of resurrection. Yes, indeed, communication is important because it's a key to understanding. And we as humans, Allah gave us the ability to communicate and to read the minds of others and to converse in a way that is understandable among us, between two people or even within a group of people. So I would emphasize, based on my own specialization in communication, about interpersonal communication. That's the key to any success for two people getting along with each other. It's so fundamental that when you live with someone, this someone who lives with you on a daily basis, you share the same room, you share the same house, you live together, you need to communicate very well in the sense that you need to understand what the person is saying, give them the right answer. At the same time, you have to give them a chance to express themselves, because sometimes they may have an issue with something, they need to say something, and most of the time we fail to let the other person express himself or herself, whether being a husband or a wife or a child or even a parent. This is important, essential. Unless we do this, we will not be able to get along very well in our lives and to deal with issues that may arise. And it's natural. We have our own tendencies, we have our own interests, we have our own inclinations, our own understandings. That's why, unless you be very open and willing to hear the other person, to understand them, to give them the chance to do this, we will not have a very strong family, and we will have a breakdown of the communication, which is going to be indeed creating very, very great issues within the family.
Yeah. An interesting question came. I think it's quite a tough question because, mashallah, most of you, I believe, have traveled to the West, right? So the question was that about communication again. Muslims who've lived in both sides of the world, right, Muslim countries and America or the West, they say that families in the West, whether it be a Muslim or non-Muslim, communicate much better than families in the Muslim countries. And I'm not sure they were attributing it to the fact that, in Muslim countries, sometimes, for example, how can a child speak to his father? It's like disrespectful, if he approaches him to speak about a certain issue that is maybe private. And people felt, and this question came quite often, people felt that in the West somehow the culture encourages you to communicate more, or the boundaries are less, or people don't hold back as much. Do you have any experience or feedback on this?
Again, I think this is a generalization. In my own personal point of view, and the brothers may correct me, when you say that in the West they are encouraged to speak their minds,
right,
they don't have any boundaries. They speak their minds and they exceed the levels of respect. They exceed the levels of what's halal and haram. And that is why you find that so many in the States or in Europe would leave the house when they're 14, 15 years of age, disrespecting their parents, not interested of telling them where they're about. And we have like very sad stories from brothers, Muslim families, first generation or second generation, crying and complaining about their children, about their daughters, who just simply said, you can't stop me, you can't do anything to prevent me from going out with my boyfriend, or from, as they say nowadays, the trend, getting out of the closet and express my orientation, as if it's normal now. Homosexuality is becoming so normal. Yes, in a sense, they have this beautiful attribute or characteristic that they encourage their children to speak. This is also found in Islam. Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, in the Sahih Bukhari, narrated by Abdullah ibn Umar, when the Prophet gave a quiz.
Parable.
Yes. He asked them who or what is similar to the believer that is, if I'm not mistaken, Annie, he gave a description. Nobody knew. Ibn Umar, Abdullah, said afterwards to his father, I knew that it was a palm tree. But, and he said, why didn't you speak up? He said, Daddy, you were in the court of the Prophet. Abu Bakr was there. I'm just 14 years old. How dare I speak? He said, Wallahi, had you spoken, that would have been to me more valuable than the whole of the treasures of the world.
So this is a misconception, that
it's
the Muslims
an encouragement.
That the Muslims
Umar is encouraging his son to speak up. So when you say that the Muslims in the Middle East do not encourage their children to speak, no, this is wrong. They teach them respect. But maybe there is an imbalance when people mistake disrespect to being forthcoming and open and voicing your mind. No, there's no conflict here. But in the West, they truly stated that they don't have any boundaries. They encourage their people to speak out, but this leads to catastrophes. When you, out of freedom of speech, allow people to slander, to insult, to backbite, to spread chaos and fitna, this is not positive. And likewise, in Islam, it teaches you to speak, but within the boundaries of the society, of the religion that you respect, and you know when to stop and when to proceed.
Sheikh Salim, so is it Islamic, again, because communication is not restricted to the husband and the wife only. Now we have the children and so on. So if I understand correctly, it is Islamic to come forth, to express your opinion, but there are certain limits or certain boundaries that should not be passed. One of the questions that come, because if children, for example, are not comfortable to speak to their parents, which, as you said, that Islam does encourage you that, they will try to usually go and speak to someone else, right? So does the Muslim family encourage anyone in the family to speak openly about maybe issues that they have? For example, they might have fallen in love with someone, or might have, done something wrong. I mean, is that something that Islam opens up the doors to? Are there limitations? Are there not? How do we look at this means of communication?
I'll come back to it.
You'll come back to it? Okay.
I promise you I'll come back to it. But see the story that Sheikh Asim mentioned.
No.
See the respect and the manners, how he was brought up. He looked around. They are elders, more knowledgeable than me. Okay? So that's what made him to refrain. So the respect for Abu Bakr and the rest of the companions. Okay? Though his father wished that he had answered the question. And the Prophet ﷺ, you see, my dear brothers and sisters, wherever you are, we don't need anything in the sense that we have been giving all the solutions for our problems in our deen.
No.
Let me put it that way. Okay. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is the role model, he's the example. All these problems were there if we follow his footsteps. For example, now about children. The Prophet ﷺ, a young girl, held him with his hand, from his right hand, in the streets of Medina to show him something, and he followed her. See, young girl is pulling the Prophet ﷺ. He played with the children. He taught the children. He left the member. He prayed standing, carrying. So all these things that people are in accusations, yes, we have to differentiate between cultures, maybe, or some people who are ignorant, they don't know, and they attribute it to Islam. So coming back to the Prophet ﷺ, he is our role model. He is the example. Regarding communication, the Prophet ﷺ in the Hadith in Bukhari and elsewhere, he disliked staying awake after Isha, except when to have conversation with your wife.
Allah Akbar. This is something amazing.
Conversation with the wife. The poor girl needs to talk. She needs to listen to someone. And we men, unfortunately, are not good listeners, but we have to.
Subhan.
You have to listen to her. The Prophet ﷺ, he is your example, and he would listen to Aisha.
Allah Akbar.
We have to be observant, which many of us lack that. The Prophet ﷺ was very, very observant. He knew his wives very well. And one day he said to Aisha, by Allah, I know when you are happy and when you are angry.
Subhan.
He said, how? Tell me. He said, when you are happy and you want to emphasize upon any matter, you would say, by the Lord of Muhammad. Wa Rabbi Muhammad. But when you are angry, you would say, Wa Rabbi Ibrahim. With the Lord of Ibrahim.
Allah Akbar.
The Prophet ﷺ used to entertain Aisha because she is the most beloved wife.
MashaAllah.
And he used to call her Ya Aish. You know what that means? Oh, cute Aisha.
Yeah, beautiful, yeah, cute.
Oh, cute Aisha. This is called diminutive in English.
Diminutive, yes.
Tarkhim. Ya Aish.
Subhanallah.
So, we have everything.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. I'm going to have to take a break. I'm sorry. I know you're going to come back to my question. We're going to be back in a few minutes.
God is great.
رمضان المحسنين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Yusuf Chambers, and I'd like to take this opportunity to wish the viewers of Peace TV Ramadan Mubarak.
Where truth is hidden and misleading quotations create confusion. Where truth is hidden, lack of knowledge and wisdom cause upheaval and commotion. Where truth is hidden, manipulated scriptures and twisted facts emerge. This very hidden truth creates false propaganda, mayhem, chaos, disorder, and turmoil in our lives and the world order. But is there anyone with courage and wisdom? What is the truth and who has the courage to expose it? Because it's your right to know the truth.
Watch truth prevail and lies perish in Truth Exposed by Dr. Zakir Naik. Next on Peace TV.
God is great.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. We took a short break and we were talking about the importance of communication. And Sheikh Salim was talking about the beautiful example of the Prophet ﷺ and how he used to communicate with Aisha radiallahu anha, with his other wives and entertain him. And Sheikh, I have to ask you a question here, because, and all of you, and it's a very interesting story that took place, and it was early in my Islam that I was confused, and you just somehow raised this, you brought it back to my memory, because you talked about that he used to dislike communicating except to his wives. I was very actually perplexed and confused about this issue, because I remember it was probably my first year of Islam that I went to visit someone in the UK, and he was very proud, and he was, mashallah, a practicing Muslim, that he divorced his wife because she insisted on talking after Isha, and he did not want to talk after Isha. And wallahi, till today, to this point, I never thought about searching it, but somehow I forgot about it, but now you brought it up, and you say there was an istithna there, an exception, except to talk to his wife. And subhanAllah, the brother, divorce was because his wife wanted to talk after Isha. Subhanallah.
Yani, I'm totally outraged of such stories, because this is a perfect radical to be person, misunderstanding the deen, divorcing your spouse because she wants to talk after Isha.
After Isha, yes. I remember this very specific.
This is nonsense. This is
very
ridiculous.
proud that he's following the sunnah of the Prophet.
Akhi, this guy doesn't know the sunnah, wallah.
Allah.
And if you go and check on him, probably you'll find him in Iraq or in Syria.
Allah.
Most likely. Seriously, we have a problem in how these people think. They take one hadith and they build castles of sand, neglecting the vast majority of the verses of the Quran and the other hadiths, because it serves their whims and desires. The Prophet ﷺ used to pray night prayer, like half of the night, or 2/3 of it, or 1/3 of it. The brother who divorced his wife, how long does he pray? Now, this is what you chose from the Sunnah, subhanAllah.
And even it's wrong.
Yani, it is unethical, un-Islamic. Where is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ where he says the best of you are the best to their wives? Where is the communication? Divorce because she wants to speak? Now, when you say that communication, it's a two-way highway.
Right.
But subhanAllah, Allah Azza wa Jal gave us 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth.
Allah.
Now, some of these houses have a one-way communication. When you go to the husband, he says, yeah, I communicate with my wife. How? He says, I'm the only one who speaks. If she talks or opens her mouth, I'm going to smack her on it. Some wives say, yeah, we do have communication. I keep nagging him from Fajr till the middle of the night. This is not communication, akhi. This is a waste of time. In the West, they have a beautiful saying, quality time.
Quality time.
We don't have quality time. It's just the food, maybe take them shopping, do my errands and whatever is needed, and that's it. Is this marriage? Is this an ideal Muslim house? Where is the love? Where is the joking? The Prophet jokes with Aisha radiallahu anha. And Aisha says, by Allah, I abandon only your name. She knows his rights. So even when she's angry with him, she just misses his name when she swears. By the Lord of Ibrahim, not by, it's just him. This is the communication we're looking for, to build and to reconcile. And it has to be progressive. It has to be some form of a discussion that builds, not demolishes, because communication can be bad.
Yeah, I build on that.
Yes, Akhi.
If I may, I'm saying that the wisdom is looked after, whether coming from a Muslim or a non-Muslim. I've seen families in the West, and I've seen families in the East. We do have the guidelines set by Islam, alhamdulillah, encouraging all of these great issues of communication, understanding, and matters of priorities. You know, the example of this man divorcing his wife because he didn't want to talk after Isha, and she's insisting that she needs to communicate. That's just a loss of priorities. This person doesn't have just a bit of understanding of what Islam is all about. I mean, if this is a sunnah, let's say, even if he goes to that understanding, you know, you do have a priority to keep your own family intact. You're losing a lot by just only picking up a little small thing at the expense of a great thing. But I would say we tend, in our part of the world, to be more tempered, I guess, more easy to provoke. We need to have some patience. How many verses are there in the glorious Quran asking us to be patient? And in fact, patience would only be rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't know the extent of the reward of patience. And part of our patience is to be patient with our family members, particularly the ones who are very close to us. We could be nice and very mannered when we talk to strangers, but when it comes to the family, we tend to just, let ourselves loose from being committed to
Take them for granted. Take them for granted.
We think that this is it. I mean, I can express myself the way I want, I can shout, and then the dominance of the man, thinking that if you want to be a man, you have to have the louder voice, you have to have the supremacy over your own. In fact, this is not what manhood is all about. Manhood is about being a leader, and a leader is someone who listens to his team, and he would keep that communication going. In fact, affection, which we started this series addressing or talking about, Allah says, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. He created this in between you, which is love and compassion. We need to have, and even mawadda is something so delicate inside your heart. You need to have that great affection and love and understanding. This doesn't come for granted. You have to work for it. So the point is, we need, besides being good Muslims, someone who, mashallah, performs the duties of their religion, they still need to be very good-mannered within the family and outside the family.
Just something that I want to comment again on. I remember one of my teachers saying that, how can you, have such good manners with your brother, when you meet him, mashallah, kayf al-hal, hayakallah, brother, my brother, I love you. As soon as your wife comes or a family member, you totally switch. And he said, this is tanaqad, this is contradiction. It's like there's a problem in you right there. Because how do you, serve your brother and then go home and expect to be served or to be, treated like a boss, And when we know the Prophet ﷺ was in the khidmah, is the service of his family.
His family and the father or the mother you mentioned at the beginning, they have to open their hearts for the children. If they don't open their hearts for the children will look for help and maybe they will be misguided
by someone else.
So that's why they say when your son is reaching the adulthood, and so he is your friend now. It's the same thing for the girl. You are her mother. Okay, she needs guidance. So you have to educate your daughter. Open your heart for your daughter. So she can confide in you. She can talk to you. Your son can come to you and confide in you and say, Dad, this and this and that.
Allah Akbar. SubhanAllah. If we have just about a minute left, and this question could be another 10 episodes, but really fast. If we were to pick one person, according to you, this is a personal opinion, inshallah, not a Sharia opinion, between the husband and a wife, who's the one who should do more effort or exert more effort when it comes to communication or to be more understanding? Husband or wife? What do you think, Dr. Ahmed?
I think the husband needs to listen more. The wife should lower her voice and speak less.
It takes two to tango. See, from my perspective, I'm a man. I said, yes, the wife should pay more attention, respect, and not nag and do this and that. But this is wrong because I have daughters. And I would love my daughters to have a good life. So it has to be mutual here and there. But the husband is the captain of the ship. So he has to weigh the pros and cons, and he has to make decisions. These decisions make or break the marriage. The wife, no matter what she does, at the end of the day, a bottle of perfume, some roses would soften her heart, and she flips 180 degrees. So it's the man that has the upper hand, but again, we need both of them.
Sheikh Salim, what do you think? Man or woman? 30 seconds.
Okay. I think, men, in general, they have to listen to their wives because they need to talk, especially if she is locked with the kids only. So at the end of the day,
an avenue to express her.
She needs to talk to someone. And you are the closest one. You are her partner.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khair, MashaAllah. Excellent points. Excellent. I hope you are following up with this. I hope you're taking notes. I'm benefiting from this, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, and we'll see you on the next episode. This is on Peace TV. Your host, Gabe Al-Romani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Season comes around tonight. Season comes and Season comes around tonight.